Hello, so I'm going to do a video on a Gelsoft gun or a gel blaster. So the quick way of explaining what these are is basically a bit like airsoft guns, but they shoot Zorby style gel kind of capsules that explode or bounce on impact. So it's designed to not really hurt, although again you still need to wear eye protection or something like this if you're shooting at each other with them, because of the fact that it can take your eye out, and apparently that's happened before. So with these sort of things, obviously, if you get an imitation firearm looking one like this, be sensible with it. Don't wave it around in a public space because you're just going to make the rules worse for everybody. This one came with a sort of Chinese, English, sort of Chinglish, English, one of those sort of badly translated instructions. So there's not really any point looking at those. I like how the safety is called the insurance on this. Right, this came with an awful fake EOTech style red dot sight, so I'm not going to be using this at all because it doesn't even fit on the gun properly. But it does have proper rails on this, so you know you can fit various sort of optics to it, laser sights, things like that. For this video, because I'm only going to be shooting it at very close range, I'm not going to bother fitting an optic. I'm pretty sure I can hip fire this pretty accurately, you know, or just about guess where it's going to go. So anyway, what you get in this packet, and I've already opened it and sort of made a capsule thing up for it so you can see what they are. These are the actual things it fires, so I'm going to pour the water out before I load this up. I'll do that off camera, but what you get in here is essentially loads of these little balls. I don't know why you actually see them on the camera, but they're basically just like little gel balls, and they come in a packet like this. So that's what they look like, just those tiny little blue balls like that. And each of these packets holds, is it 500? So these are very, very cheap to shoot, at least. All you need to do is get a little bottle of water, pour loads of these in, wait a few hours, they go to full size, and then it's ready to shoot. So I'll assemble this now, and I don't know how well I'm going to be able to assemble it on camera, but what I've already done is given the battery a charge and put the battery in this stock section. And here's the main gun itself. So the nice thing of the imitation ones is they actually use proper magazines, as opposed to just having like a bottle like this that just goes onto the gun. Obviously if you wanted one that looks more like a Nerf gun, then you know you can do it that way. So the battery's got two connectors, one for the charger and one for connecting it to the gun. So we want to use this connector, not the white one, and put that on, assuming I'm doing it the right way because I can't really see from this angle. There we go. So now that's in, we can obviously put that cable in like that. Get that sort of out the way as possible. I might actually extend the stock a bit because that helps with keeping the battery in. So there we go, like that, and then push that in there. So I don't want to see, I don't want to shear the wire by getting it caught, because this stock has a weird kind of lock-on system like that, because obviously it's designed to fit a battery inside the stock. So there you go. So that's what the actual thing itself looks like. You've got a safety on here, but this one only does safe to full auto. So while it says, you know, safe, semi and auto, if it's in the semi position, it's full auto. So let's put on safe a moment. So you've got your magazine, and how the magazine works is there's a little hatch here that you open up. And then once you've poured the water out from where the balls are, you pour your balls in and then you shoot your balls at people. So yeah, a bit of innuendo there I guess, but yeah, there's a plastic muzzle brake looking thing for it. I don't know if this is really essential to go on or not, and it's out of frame, but we might as well stick it on for the video I guess. But yeah, it just literally has, that goes on the end like a little silver muzzle brake thing. I assume in some places they do those orange to say, hey, it's not a real gun, I don't know. You can get these that don't look like guns at all, so if you're buying them for like kids that could play with them responsibly, I'd probably say if they're quite young, or whatever, get them the Nerf looking ones, you know, the ones that are bright colours that look more sci-fi. Don't get them the ones that look like an M4 or whatever, in case you live somewhere where somebody sees a kid with this, even if it's in their garden or whatever, and they call the police and, you know, be one of those dickheads. So anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to bother with the safety glasses because I'm not shooting it at anybody. Oh yeah, so just to show you, this is how small the little balls are before they're added to the water. Because, you know, it's quite hard to get 100% of them in the thing when you pour it in, unless you've got a funnel, and I didn't when I first set this up. So, right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pour the water out of here and pour these into the magazine, and then, if all works, I will show you a demonstration of it shooting, so you get an idea of how sort of hard and fast this one shoots. And I have no idea what the brand of this one is, by the way, because it's just one of those generic Chinese ones, but it's one of those alright generic Chinese ones, but it was about £90 on Amazon, and I mostly went for it just because of the fact that the funny bit of trivia with these is because these are newer than the British sort of laws on airsoft guns when they brought in all that bloody stuff under Tony Blair, you know, the Violent Crime Reduction Act, where you can't have realistic imitation firearms like this unless, you know, you've got a valid reason for having it and all that. The rules are really complicated. I've done videos on it before and people argue non-stop about the stuff of the law. Basically, the thing of this law is it's not really a proper law. It's kind of a license system that isn't a license system, and there's lots of grey areas in it. So basically, lots of people can argue points and at the same time be right and wrong because it doesn't really matter. But the cool thing with Gelsoft guns, they are newer than the VCRA, and because the VCRA doesn't directly seem to specify them, they get around the rules. So unless the government updates it to ban things like this, like Australia did, Australia apparently was... the government there was so sort of wimpy that they actually have legit made these classed as real firearms. So unless you have them on the firearms license, you can't have them at all. Because, you know, stupid reasoning like that. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill up the mag, and assuming it works, I'll do a little demonstration of it shooting. I believe if you go up to about £300, you can get full-on metal one-to-one size replicas of lots of real firearms of these, just like you can with airsoft guns. This is actually plasticky, but it's quite a tough plastic. I mean, this is good enough for what it is. For the price, you know, it's around the same money that you could get an okay shooting airsoft gun that was still plasticky. So I'd assume with these, they probably fall into the criteria of what airsoft guns do in terms of, you know, like price performance and price realism type stuff. Anyway, let me pour this out, and then we'll shoot it if it works. Right, so I have this just in a little bit of the garden. So as you can see there, I'm only going to be stood a few yards from this thing. From what I've seen in videos, the higher end Gelsoft guns tend to be accurate at least to 30 yards, and in burst fire you'd probably at least land one hit in 50 yards on a man-sized target. Up close they're going to be a lot more accurate, but obviously things like this can't have rifling because of how they work. So the magazine's loaded up, we're all ready to go. Let's take it off safe, and let's see what happens. So obviously there's only full auto, so oh, there we go. Right, it's working now. Yeah, so they're disintegrating on impact, but they're not moving the punching bag. Let's spray it down. And if you want to see it like that, that's quite fun actually. Right, and that's me out of ammo. So yeah, the little balls, you can probably see bits of them down there on the floor, where some of them have disintegrated completely and others haven't. Let's just zoom in a bit so you can see that. Hopefully you'll see it out on the camera. So some of them have completely disintegrated into little tiny chunks of gel, others sort of didn't disintegrate, and that's all the way from there to the target. And obviously no damage to the punching bag. It looks like it's a bit wet in one area, but I assume that isn't a rip. Let me just go check that. That's just water. So yeah. So yeah, essentially you would want eye protection if you were using one of these, but all in all, yeah, they're pretty fun if you wanted something like an airsoft gun just for messing about with. Obviously follow all the rules of your country. I hope you don't live somewhere that's so pathetic that these are banned. But you know, I could see the appeal of owning a full imitation one of these, you know, the full-on metal, realistic size and weight ones, if you wanted to spend a bit, just so in the UK, for example, you don't have to go through any hoops to get something that, you know, is fully functional. So there you go. A Gelsoft gun, pretty cool actually. Like I said, don't know the brand or anything. Can't link you to this because that would break YouTube's terms on anything firearm related. But yeah, you can get one of these on Amazon if you, at least Amazon UK, if you look up sort of Gelsoft Blaster. And yeah, currently in the UK, they don't break any rules. That might change. And of course, with this, it does have the imitation shell ejection mechanism. I assume that doesn't do anything if we have that on and then we fire it. Yeah, that's just for show, but But yeah, there you go. So there's a Gelsoft gun. As I said, it's pretty fun. Does that on the forward assist does actually do something. I don't know if that pumps the rounds up. And obviously, like with an AR platform, you've got the mag release switch there. There you go. And you've just seen some bits fly out there. And it turns out there's a few dead rounds in there that didn't have the velocity to get out of the magazine. But at least the ammo is super cheap for this. So yeah, I'm quite impressed for it. It is, if I can get a chance to shoot this at a 50-yard range, I want to see actually if it can still fire that far, because some of them certainly can.